Welcome to High Intelligence. It's Friday, 420, and hope you're all doing good. Happy Friday. We got Genius Pothead in the house, Crypto Stoner. We're here with the Meta Betties. We got Rick Star in the house, and Red Eye, also with the Meta Betties. And we got Meta in the house, too.
We got a full house today. Happy Friday, everybody. This is going to be a fun show. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Happy 420. We're going to be talking about some current events. We're talking about some crypto. Meta Betties, which is a fascinating project. We'll talk with them a little bit later. And, of course, Pup. We got Pup on the show as well. I like to start with the bubble map. So, Crypto Stoner, how are you?
Yo, we love starting with bubble maps.
We love starting with bubble maps.
You're not gonna like the bubble maps today. Sorry
okay.
to pre-warn as I switch over here. But I mean,
mixed bag.
We talk about well, that's a black screen. Whoopsies.
Is that my fault? Hold on.
No, I think it was my fault. It might be me. Yeah. Crypto zeroed out, y'all. It's
always
a black screen now.
It went to zero.
It makes sense.
Let me fix
if you
it.
look at my wallet.
Yeah. My wallet feels like it's down,
Still black. Still black.
Yeah. Screen. I'm going to fix it right now.
What's up, levels?
All levels in the house already. There we go. Boom. We're back on the bubbles. So yeah, as you can see, it's a little red today. We're a little sad in the market. But I'm going to give you guys some good news. Bitcoin's still up 60% almost on the year. So 59.4% on the year.
Yeah.
Holding 100,000. What I'll say is market-wise, we're still we didn't get any rate cuts this week from Powell. A lot of the financial world is ripping at his door of why he didn't. But that's okay. We know a lot of manipulation is going on, so there may be more than just him not wanting to cut rates. We know that there's also been heavy escalations in, kind of war stuff around the world, unfortunately. We also know that the inflation data came out good this week, or last week. It was actually it was right on, a little bit under what people actually projected. So inflation numbers are not looking terrible either. So on that note, we still have a lot of delays on the tariffs, but the tariffs are pretty much over, in my opinion, of everything that's going on. Most of the deals have already been talked about. They're just not implemented yet. It's during that freeze. So that's the reason we're seeing a lot of the downtrot, is because of the escalations and tensions around the world with different countries, the fear of inflation, the Fed rates not getting cut on interest. And so that's pretty much what's causing this. We could see a larger sell-off, like, Solana, my projections, especially because we know the market moves heavy through the weekends nowadays. We see a lot of Saturday, Sunday movement. That means that I'm thinking things like Bitcoin could, if we see escalation, Bitcoin could test the back down to the 90,000 range, that 91,000 range based on bad news. With good news and steadiness of where we're going now, currently, Bitcoin is honestly holding really solid at all of its resistance levels above 100,000 right now. So we're seeing a lot of fight against the bears pushing the markets down. But again, for Solana followers too, if we see the news get bad over the weekends, we see manipulation hit the markets. We could see something as low as 130s over the weekend pop in if the market looks real scary. So for a lot of the people I'm talking to right now and my investment strategies, just kind of looking for a bottom through the weekend. Once we see another retest of a low side, if we break that resistance, I'll start looking for any kind of a buy-in on that bottom side. But we're going to kind of wait and see how the rest of Friday and Saturday starts off before we think we're at a bottom. We could have one more kind of sell-off before the end of the weekend.
So 91 on the low range. Once we get through that, and we get through summer, are you still projecting kind of that 150-ish on the low end, high side?
Yeah, for the long term, I keep echoing this. Some people probably are sick of hearing it or don't believe me, but we talked about that long term. Yeah, Genius Potheads heard about me talking about it for a long time now, since we were still in the 80,000-70,000 range, or actually even lower. That if we had a steady climb with a lot of sideways patterns like we have, instead of shooting up to 100,000 straight up last year and then falling back off because it was oversold so heavy, what I think's happening is the longer we really see this stretch and the sideways trend, while we're still seeing on the yearly percentage gains being massively up still on a lot of projects, what I'm seeing is a massive foundation and a new floor being created that's just going to be a launch pad for later in the year. Bitcoin, we're only going into the second phase of the banana zone. If you guys know what that is, there's a 3-phase jump in markets during that. Bitcoin hasn't even hit its second phase of price discovery. So yeah, with that, and like you're saying, definitely later in the year, unfortunately for the people that wanted their, returns now, they wanted that Lambo now, those kind of things, it's going to be a little bit of a wait, but the patience is always rewarded. If you guys have been through multiple cycles, like myself, that this is just an accumulation phase. In my opinion, you dollar cost average your bags in here. You keep your stop losses and profit margins tight as you're doing short trades. And you just kind of, find money to be made where it's in here, or find points of accumulation that are going to be best for you long term. Because as we get in towards the end of this year, I really do think, 150,000 for Bitcoin might even be a low target at this point. If we have a really, really high adoption rate and a couple $1 trillion flood into the market over the next year, yeah, that could be a $250,000 Bitcoin. So. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about mass adoption all the time, right? And what is that going to take? We're hearing, obviously, Circle and oh God, why am I blinking on the name? Coinbase, right? Going public. Hearing about possibly Kraken, bullish, and what was the other one? Gemini possibly doing an IPO. Solana ETF is on the table. So there's still a lot of positive tailwinds to push crypto up in general through the second half of 2025. And oh, by the way,
I think we're going to see real estate next too, though.
Tokenized
real estate, and that's
just RWAs, all that stuff, right?
So much more value there.
Yeah, and so I think there's a lot of positive tailwinds heading into the end of 2025. Obviously, Q4 is shopping season for the holidays and back to school season and all that fun stuff. So it's I think we gotta weather the summer, the dog days of summer, and then I think September, October things are gonna start ripping again. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
I was doing a TA on Thursday with Quack Life this week too. And we were actually talking just kind of about numbers for perspective for people of 7% of the population roughly invests in crypto currently. Mass adoption is 50%, but you see how many trillions are in the market at 7%. So just imagine 14% this cycle, 15%, 20, right. 30, anything under mass adoption, but doubling or tripling where we're at just in investors and fiat around the world liquidity. That would be just absolutely massive catapult for the entire ecosystem of crypto, all blockchains, everyone that's building it. It's going to be huge when we see a double from where we're at now.
And we talked about this a little bit last week too. People were worried about the start of World War III last week, and Bitcoin's still, as of right now, at 103,000. Right, so if it can weather the storm of potential World War III, like you said, I think it's building a pretty strong foundation. Pretty strong kind of base of where it can go from here. I don't know, Rick, what do you think? Rick, Tricky, or Meta Betties and Red Eye jump into?
The longer we go sideways, the bigger we go up,
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just delaying the inevitable right now, and there's a little bit of uncertainty, but once, things are going to get ironed out They're going to get more clear as legislation is like firmed up, and it seems like all these states are starting to adopt Bitcoin reserves. There's so much demand now for Bitcoin on the stock market as well. They're going to have to buy it. They're going to have to keep buying it just to tokenize it and sell it on the stock market.
Yeah, what does MicroStrategy own now? Like 2.7% of all the Bitcoin out there, something.
Yeah, it's like almost 3. It's crazy. They probably do own. They probably do own more than that.
Yeah, right. You know what? I always forget about the chat. What's up, Levels? What's up, Silky? Zen? Who else is in there? What's that?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, indeed. Yeah, so it's an interesting time in the market. Dog days of summer. Sell in May, go away. Everything's going to go sideways for a little bit longer, and then when school starts back up in August, September, we should start to see some incredible price action. So it'll be interesting to watch.
MicroStrategy just bought more, by the way. Two things I just wanted to add real quick, just because they were big ones. So 592,100 Bitcoin is how much MicroStrategy currently owns. So that's how much as of this week, because I think they bought 200 billion this week, or some crazy number like
which
that.
Is 2.8% of all the supply.
Exactly. So they're moving more money, getting more investors. And the other thing that you guys have to watch for, we talked about this week, JP Morgan. You guys know, the absolute haters and caster out the witch hunters of crypto. Said that it's for illegal activities only. They now have a token that they are building. JPMD,
no way.
The ticker. Yep, and this leads into CBDC territory. So I am warning everyone to be insanely careful with that kind of thing. They are going to offer most likely to buy your crypto, your Bitcoin, your Solana, your Ethereum, and they're going to give you their token for a bonus. But I promise you that a lot of the way the fiat system works today and the hyperinflation is because of how they've done these things of taking your actual currency or values away or your assets, and then giving you something, paper, let's say. And so, be very careful. But JP Morgan is now in the crypto game officially. They're getting in the blockchain technology. So, they're moving even after they told y'all not to.
So what is the impetus or the strategy behind that? Because they want to get fees off the coin. They want to have the transaction volume on the coin versus just using USDC, right? So they have a little bit more control. Like, why would they do that? What's the reasoning behind it?
So not stable coin. You got to look at this one as more, in my opinion, as CBDC, central based digital currency. Central, and so with the CBDCs and how they work, there's a lot more legality that goes into that. You have a social score essentially in a CBDC world that's going to tell you when you can buy meat, red meat, fish, or these things. They can, in all of the documentation you read about any of the legislation or passing of CBDCs, it's basically to create an ecosystem where they say it's, helping keep things in line, but it really is just, you losing a lot of control of your buying power, and them having control, stamps,
basically.
Exactly. And they can liquidate or freeze your assets that way because it's not decentralized, right? It's more through the banking, the FDIC world. And for those people that do enough research on that, you find that there's a lot of not in your best interest going on behind the scenes. And so, it's like when they were buying people's gold back in the gold rush, and they were telling people to exchange it for fiat, but they would give you more. You're going to get more fiat if you just give us your gold, and we're going to back that gold to the dollar. And then all of a sudden, generation later, or a couple, generations later, all of a sudden we're not backing this anymore. CBDCs is the future of fiat. And for those people that don't like fiat and the inflammatory ecosystem, CBDCs realistically will become that next, in my opinion, inflated ecosystem. So you really have to know the difference between banks creating tokens and you buying and holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, SUI, XRP, whatever it is you may believe in. if someone's asking to buy your supply so they can give you a central token or something through your country, you're basically selling something that's probably not going to have the same value. They want yours for a reason. They're trying to buy yours for a better deal for a reason.
Just like
So
there's
there's
all
a
these
lot
new
of
projects
information
popping up right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to do the research real quick. So MicroStrategies currently holds 592,100 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
BlackRock holds 683,017.5 Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm reading the article. I'm looking at an article right now that says they have 3.25% of supply of Blackstone, and they have over 54.7% of the market share for the Bitcoin spot ETFs. So, yeah, Larry Fink is definitely in the background pulling strings back there for sure. It's crazy. Those are some wild numbers.
Well, I am really curious about MetaBet.
Yeah.
I looked through your Twitter a little bit, but it's nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Welcome.
I love
Yeah.
that intro.
You like that segue?
Like I got a little scared when you guys were talking, and now I feel better again. So.
Good. This is a safe space.
Yeah, we're friendly stoners.
I mean, I'm way more into investing like in NFTs, so that was a little bit of a crash course. But yeah, it's nice to meet all of you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on here. So I've been following your account for a little while now, and it's fascinating what you guys are doing. So I want to get into the project in a little bit, but first I want to get your background on how you got into Web3, your experience with NFTs, and you too, Red Eye, and then talk about how the culmination of that and how you came to form MetaBuddies. Let's start with a little bit of background.
Dope. Yeah. So hey, my name is Blakely. I am the artist and the curator behind the project MetaBuddies. I come from a physical art background. I was a professional dancer. I've worked a lot in New York. Worked heavily with like incorporating tech into my practice, whether that was movement or paintings. Did a lot with AR. So if people would purchase my paintings, they would also purchase, this AR app that I designed where a performance would come out of the painting, and they also owned that. So very interested in ownership of live performance. I've been in the crypto space for about 5 years now. And once I started seeing NFTs pop off, I was definitely seeing like an area where dance was not incorporated whatsoever in like the art worlds of NFTs and crypto. So I just saw like a very cool opportunity to bring live performance art, live dance on chain. And that's kind of where MetaBuddies came from. Yeah, and then like Red Eye, he's my co-founder. Do you want to introduce yourself or?
Yeah. Hey guys, I go by Red Eye on X. I do strategy and operations for the brand. Saw what Blakely was doing. I mean, she talked about her dance background for exactly 1 or 2 seconds there, but she's an incredible dancer and choreographer, and that's her. That's really who she grew up, how she grew up, and kind of what she's excellent at. And I saw the performances that she was doing with her collective. And, I've been like kind of around kind of since the end of the first cycle of NFTs, collectibles. I know Genius, you're an ape, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were sort of in the market at that time. But it's just been interesting to us, and we've seen an opportunity of like, how do we sort of tokenize and make collectible other forms of art? Why is it sort of just static JPEGs pretty much that haven't evolved so much? And so, like, as I was watching a lot of Blakely's performance art pieces, movement and performance art is so symbolic, right? Like, sort of every piece of choreography, every movement, every sort of object and prop. It's an opportunity to make an immutable moment happen on the blockchain and sort of store it and sort of collect it like any other asset. And so we kind of came up with this concept where, like, let's go transmedia let's bridge physical and digital forms of expression on chain, and let's make it fun, like sort of old NFT days. Let's make it collectible. We sort of tie physical objects, like on a lot of Blakey's performances, and if you go through our feed, you'll see some of them. It gets wild, it gets crazy. Performers are swinging axes or holding candles or live bird cages. And, so what we do is we take those objects, we sort of incorporate them into the collectible. The concept covers the spans 10 themes, right? Which are kind of all just like themes. I won't give them all away right now, but kind of like the 10 sort of most, I'll say, the 10 items that make us a culture that's aware, that's united, that's divided. That's the theme of the collectible. Blakely marries that with the performance art pieces. And yeah, we bridge those physical objects to the metadata within the on-chain collectible. And then we gamify that. The tokens provide access to a tokenized theater. And we drop content once per week in that theater. Season 1 will span 50 short films. And when an object used in the film that we drop that week, for the holders who own pieces that contain that metadata, that contain those traits, the app is able to recognize that and then sort of like award XP, right? And you can accumulate that XP throughout the duration of season 1. So long-winded way of sort of trying to frame the concept, but yeah, these tokens, think of them as access passes to the tokenized theater, and also game pieces at the same time.
So I'm kind of getting like Dapper Labs meets Gary B meets the BAYC short story collection, right?
Yeah.
Kind of all together between the tokenized. You mentioned the tokenized performance art aspect of it, but then the access pass part of it. It's really interesting what you guys are doing and taking things that are, like you said, typically red eye, like you said, typically static on chain, and tying that or marrying that to something IRL or a physical performance. I think it's fascinating. I'm really interested by what you guys are doing, and I think it's a cool project to follow, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on to tell us more about it. So you're minting on Monday, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
The
don't remind
23rd.
me. I'll light up my joint right
Yeah. So with that mint, so how does that work? It looks like you guys are doing some whitelist spots. I'm on your Twitter right now, trying to scroll through. Looks like you guys are doing some whitelist spots still, and then season 1 mints on July 23rd. Access pass, game piece, framework, and
Yeah, we have the mint on Monday. Join the pre-sale, but we are also right now is live. We're doing like insider sets, which is like Red Eye said, there's 10 themes to the collectible. So the sets are one of every persona that MetaBuddies encompasses, plus a 11th token, like a Grail token that's pretty spicy, I'll say. And we're only selling 60 of those. So limited supply, and just a very cool way to understand the project quickly. You get a set, and then Jason Red Eye talked about the tokenized theater app. When we mint, we are going to have 10 conceptual short films already in the portal. So normally, like going forward, we'll release one a week, but you'll have all 10, and there's one for every persona. So let's say you get a set and then you get access to this portal. You automatically start earning XP if you have or hold the same traits that we use in these short films. So it's a very cool way to just like get ahead. And yeah, we have like very cool merch. We have cool gifts and rewards for people during NFT NYC. So we have many activations like in New York, but also for our holders that aren't in New York. So it's a good time to get in.
That was going to be one of my
NYC.
Yeah, Tricky will be at NFT NYC, so I'll have to.
All right, cool. So we're opening for Nolta shows on that Friday night. So are you going to be there?
I'm going to a bunch of different events. So Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
If you
Wednesday,
make your way there, I'll give you the VIP experience.
Yeah.
it's
I'll have
Wednesday night.
I'll shoot you my number so we can text and stuff. I'm staying like 3 or 4 blocks, I think, from uh Central Park.
Don't say Times Square.
Yeah, Central Park. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I stayed like in Times Square last time I was here for NFT NYC. But
Don't
like
do it.
that was my first time being into New York. So I was like, I'm gonna just go right in the middle of,
Yeah.
They hooked you. They got you. They got you bad.
yeah, yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, I
So
hope to see you in person.
So that was going to be one of my questions: is the utility, the access pass-esqueness of this for people outside of New York. So when you talk about the theater, it's a digital theater, right? It's you go online and you watch these shows. Is there
Yeah,
a
we built
physical aspect to this as well, like an in-person aspect to this as well?
Yeah, so we have a home base in the World Trade Center. We have a gallery in the World Trade
Okay,
Center,
nice.
and I curate large group shows every month. I work with Hug and Dot Art, and we incorporate a lot of international digital artists, a lot of crypto artists, and the kind of model that we go by is that I will have this large group show where we showcase, up to 200 artists, and then the
Mhm.
Meta Buddies performance will close out the night. It's a cool way the past year that we've gained our community because our performances were, list gated. You had to join our allow list in order to get in and see the performance. But it's also a group show where we were bringing awareness and showcasing hundreds of artists in one night. Um,
Got it.
so that's going to continue. We're going to have monthly performances, except now, they'll be token gated. So if
Yeah.
you want to come and see the performances, you have to hold. Our last open to the public performance will actually be the night before Mint, June 22nd. So if you happen to be in New York then, we're performing downtown, but we're performing like in an alleyway. So it should be very like underground New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll be
Very
in a big
cool.
pool, so we can't really be in the gallery. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
So how did this all come together? Like what was the inspiration? How long have you been working on this?
Yeah.
I'm looking kind of scrolling through Instagram and seeing some of the, different performances and things like that. I'm scrolling through your Twitter. So talk me through the history of and the culmination of this project.
Yeah, the digital collection came first, and I really just wanted to do like a spin on the PFPs that I was seeing like in
Mm,
2021, where it was just
okay.
like, shoulders up, like in some type of animal. And
Right.
so I was like, let me just have like the same overall theme, but the Meta Betty's figure is actually based on 1940s pinup girls. But
Yeah.
we kind of we spin it, right? So she's not holding like a duster and a vacuum. She's holding like an axe and a red brick, and we
Yeah.
give we give her symbolism and we give her purpose. But the overall theme of the art was really just kind of like the ironic twist of the traditional PFP. Same with the traits. Like I wanted the traits to hold value, not just symbolism.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we came up with gamifying them, putting them into the physical art. And then once I got the gallery in New York last year, we really started being able to tie in the IRL experience with the digital collectible. Red
And
Eye, do
I,
you have anything else to add with that? Like,
No, I mean, yeah, that's the history, and then sort of once we became notorious, if you will, in New York and in Manhattan, and we started getting invited to all of these crypto conferences and events around the world. So we went
that's
to
cool.
Art Basel, and we just came back from World of Women Gala in Lisbon last week. Um,
Oh, nice.
it
so
was so dope. Yeah, it was really cool.
so yeah, so once we sort of like had such a good reaction to our live performances, and then got invited to do them elsewhere, we said, we got to scale this concept outside of just like literally the people physically in the room, and
Yeah.
that's where we came up and developed this token game, this web-based app, right? The app that sort of recognizes holders, recognizes metadata of all the holders, recognizes the tags within the films that we drop there, and then sort of scores it and ranks all the people in the community there. And if guys, I know that we've got some futurists in the room here. I mean, kind of like take the concept a little bit further, a few years into the future. I think the concept lends itself well to the tokenized social club, sort of concept that's been discussed for a long time, but I personally haven't seen it executed well or really at all anywhere in practicality. But I think we got inspired last month, and we feel like we're really on the right track with this thing during Solana Accelerate in New York City. And I don't know if we mentioned, but we're based in New York City. Did a performance. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just to say when I mentioned the Gary Vee thing a couple years back when he opened his restaurant, I believe it was in New York. It was you had to buy access to the restaurant via an NFT. So that's kind of what reminded me of what you guys did.
Flatfish Club.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So yeah, it's really, really interesting what you guys are doing. And you're right. In 2 or 3 or 5 years, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, at the Solana Accelerate event, just real quick, I wanted to finish that point. It was pretty remarkable because their sort of home office is in the Lower East Side in Manhattan, and for that week during Accelerate, they essentially took over this neighborhood, the Lower East Side, and we were living in a it felt like we were living 25 years into the future. We were living in a permissionless world, retail, restaurants, bars, a couple art galleries. We did a performance there. It was completely decentralized, and it was really an inspiring, sort of way to live that week, and kind of like gave us a sense that we were on the right track.
That's very cool. So you mentioned the seasons. So is the seasons refer to the show, but does it also refer to future NFTs, collections, collabs, partnerships, etc.?
Yeah. So season 1, I'll just talk about the tokenized theater app real fast. We have made 50 short films. So that guarantees our holders to receive one of these concept short films every week for a year. And then as well with our gallery space, like just me as an artist, I always plan on having a physical presence in New York. So that's like for the foreseeable future. But art-wise as well, like I definitely want MetaBuddies to exist on chain as like a timestamp of what is happening. So you can always relate back to the collection, and you can literally see like the progression or not of our current events. And, you can go back and you can look at what you hold year after year after year.
Yeah.
And I want it to serve as a timestamp. I think that's so cool to me, especially with the figure, she's like hypersexualized in nature on purpose. So I think it's cool that she's representing current events on chain. It's like very progressive to me.
I love that. I really love that.
Thanks. Yeah, I work with 8 women. They're part of the collective. They've been with me for some for 3 years. The others have come on like 2 years, and I have a few new ones. But it's very cool that I onboarded so many women into crypto, like while we were establishing the collective as well, because in the art scene, like it's just not there yet, where many artists do not see not only like the resources and the way to preserve their art on chain, but also the way to fund art. And so I think that I'm definitely bringing information and like access to crypto to performance artists that probably wouldn't have gotten into it without MetaBuddies. So that's been really cool to see too.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is what kind of reception were you getting in general from the art community, and what were you, from an onboarding perspective, were people receptive to it? Were they confused by it? Were they like, how did that happen?
Well, we all know that crypto is predominantly male. I mean, we can look at this screen right now. Guys, come on, do better.
Yeah, I know, right?
But the galleries in the World Trade Center, we were right by the train. So we had like 100,000 people a day going through, just on their commute to work. So when we have these open to the public group shows, and then I had staff, and we had, our digital screens with just very easy steps on how to download a Phantom, how to easily join our allow list. I would say the people like coming from their 9 to 5s came in, one, because it was an open bar, but then ended up getting a wallet, signing up, staying for the performance. And it was super positive. The response was really positive. I think like the way that the market went with NFTs kind of hit me a little bit, just because they're scary to touch. But, you know, like I said, I've been around for 3 years now. And so I've definitely proved how reliable I am, like as a collection. And then art wise, I just feel thankful that, yeah, my community is predominantly artists. So they understand the performance art. They understand like how radical you can go when you're talking through, you know, an artist. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want with performance art. So I've received like very positive feedback, especially IRL. It's been a blessing. And I would want to add that my audiences are predominantly male. So, yeah, it's been a trip for sure.
Have you noticed now that you're at like year 3? So like the last like six months to like 10 months have been like way more productive than like the previous 3 years.
Yes, I actually held off. I was going to launch about 6 months ago, and I just had this gut feeling like, don't, you know, it was feeling whether like, okay, should I hold even though my community thinks I'm launching now and like, you know, just fucking throw my hands up, or should I wait? And I'm really glad that I did. I'm glad that I waited. I feel much more confident now.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you are talking to people, do you use words like NFT or do you use words like digital collection? Like how much of that vernacular changes?
No, I definitely say digital collectible, especially people who aren't crypto fluent. It is just easier to communicate when you kind of leave out those acronyms that like confuse people. But yeah, I say digital collectible most of the time.
Okay.
That's the
like the early days of digital music when people used to call
MP3
MP3s. And
you already have so much to talk about. Like you just talk about what you're doing and that's it. You don't need to mention the tech behind it, you know?
Yeah. It's true. I forget which book it was in. It was a book I read recently, but they talked about the difference between whatever the Microsoft MP3 player was and the iPod, right? And the Microsoft MP3 player, they marketed it as being able to hold a gigabyte worth of songs, whatever it was, I forget. The way Apple marketed their iPod is 10,000 songs in your pocket, right? And so it's interesting that it does matter how you talk about something, especially something that's new, a newer technology, a newer concept, or a newer philosophy, or whatever. But the difference between NFT, like non-fungible token, what the fuck does that mean? Versus a digital collection or a digital membership. Everyone knows what a membership is or a collection is, but now it's digital, right? Versus a non-fungible token, then you have to explain what fungible means. So yeah, it's interesting to see how people approach that aspect of it, especially.
I break it down like the Starbucks app a lot of the times, like the people who are just totally against it. I'm like, you know, you're literally just holding an app that has my art on it. And when you come into this gallery, you got free Wi-Fi, you've got free cannabis. We have cannabis sponsor. I have like Board Vodka has sponsored me the past 2 years. Like Sailor Gary is the OG. And so, yeah, you can come into my gallery anytime if you hold. You can podcast there. You can use my equipment. Like, you know, there's a lot of IRL perks for the New York City community. And so I just basically talk about the Starbucks app. Like, you get stars, except it's like maybe, you know, like an ass or something. But
and you know what's crazy too for like the younger generations, I've been explaining it to parents as Fortnite for their kids. I'm like, you know how your kids ask you for $100 for 5,000 V-bucks, you know, that thing. I was like, that is essentially what you do with your fiat and crypto and in the NFT world. So I love that you're finding a way to touch base IRL. That's something that we're trying to advocate a lot more, is us in the Web3 world that know what we're doing, reaching out, connecting with those people and bringing them on, but safely and informed. So I love that. That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. It got much easier once I had an IRL space. And like, of course, I'm excited for the day where I can just sit on my computer at home and not have to like push so hard, but to have a presence physically and to talk to someone face to face, just it does help. It's still impactful right now. So yeah, thank you for noticing that.
How big do you think this collection will get? And do you see yourself partnering with Fortune 500 brands at some point on different seasons or different months? Like, where do you think this goes in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so my tour for the collective, or my goal for the collective, is to tour with all the major crypto events, crypto conferences, and just be the only crypto native performance art, collective that people know about on chain. Like, I think that is just such a continuous goal for the collective. For the art, I definitely see opportunities to like license the collectible. She would look fucking great on a board vodka
Yeah,
bottle, like for the
yeah.
IT for sure. And I know that Red Eye has a ton of goals for the project. If you want to,
No, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, we've already been approached by some of the bigger events companies in the space, in sort of the Web3 sort of events circuit. And there's definitely a model where, with sponsorship, you mentioned Fortune 500 companies. Sure,
Like a
potentially.
makeup brand or like
Yeah,
a women's clothing brand. Like, I mean,
there,
anything
there's
really.
ways to weave sort of more mainstream commercial branding opportunities into the
Yeah.
thing we do for sure. But yeah, I mean, I really, in addition to the mainstream angle, I really am fascinated by the tokenized social club concept. And so starting with our base in New York, but sort of branching that out to other locations, sort of static spots that everybody knows about in these major cities, where as mass adoption starts becoming a reality, it's a place to have a totally different experience because a bunch of conversations we've been having this week we've been asked about like the gallery experience and the IRL experience. And you guys probably, I'm not saying anything new, but like the gallery experience really hasn't changed in decades or maybe even centuries, right? It's a very sort of passive experience when you go to visit a gallery, and the gallery industry is suffering, I mean, there's too many alternatives right now that are more exciting to the younger generation who's expecting, sort of, immediate gratification or interaction and immersion, right? So yeah, I think our concept kind of flips the script on the passive gallery experience where we didn't mention this, but when we have live events, we also create a custom event token for that.
Nice. Yeah.
Where whatever Blakely's choreographing for that night, so we match the same themes and symbols into the digital collectible, and then we sort of gamify that experience that night. So taking the tokenized theater concept and making it individualized for every live event.
Like a POAP.
yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about we did a collab with D-Gods, and I'm thinking about the audience that night, and that one was pretty fucking hysterical, having a bunch of D-Gods watch Betty's eat raw steak. But yeah, we did an event token for that, and they loved it. So, and then when we were in Lisbon with World of Women, we made like the backgrounds, the beautiful like villa that we were in during the gala, and that's really cool too to me. So.
Yeah, I was looking at the video of that. That looked absolutely gorgeous out there. And I'm kind of thinking like the Web3 crossing over to Web2, or kind of even Web2 now with social media influencers. Like, you're starting to see social media influencers in TV commercials. You're starting to see social media influencers having a lot more outsized impact with brands, right? And I kind of go to the Pudgy Penguins, how they started with Web3, and now they have their little squishmallows or whatever they're called, plushies or whatever they're called. And how does that, could that same crossover be possible for Meta Betties with certain audiences? And it seems like an obvious answer is yes. So it's
I think the shorts would just fly off the rack. Like, if we were selling these Daisy Dukes, like, I think that they would just,
I might have to rock a pair for snowboard season.
We do, all of our merch is chipped with NFC chips, and we do work with the Giving Block.
That's cool.
And we give like portions of the merch and obviously the NFT to different nonprofits and charities through their organization. They make it super easy, like so seamless for us. It just literally goes to wherever we choose. So It's just a very cool, like underrated part of MetaBuddies too, is that we do have a lot of activism, and the mission really underneath the project is to bring more women into Web3. So
Yeah,
yeah, just
it's
doing
fun.
good, just doing good over here.
I
Solving
love that
world
you have the
problems. I
chip
love it.
merchandise. I got a piece of chip merchandise with the collab. One of my sponsors sent me 6 of these skate decks. This is
So
one of them.
That's
where's
cool.
the chip?
It's in right here in the
Okay,
board.
cool.
So you can register it, and then you can report it like lost or stolen, and then you can tag the NFC chip and prove it's yours.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
love
cool.
NFT chips. Like I know everyone's kind of doing it now, but like why not? I love this.
Oh yeah, you got to take advantage of all the different features. There's so many
Yeah.
cool features. Why not?
I mean, for the youth, right? Like, let's say you have a MetaBuddies hoodie, and all your friends sign this petition for, a mental health, like charity or not, or what's it called, petition, right? Like, you get rewarded for all those signatures, and you're cool with your friends. If you're like 14,
Mm-hmm.
15, come on, like it's
Yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah,
you
we
can use it to like token gate like an augmented reality thing
Yeah.
that like works with you, kind of, right? So if they have that piece of merchandise, they have that NFC chip, as well. Then now it can unlock that that feature.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
Or
when
J-Mac
when I
actually.
meet somebody in one of my that's in the club, like in real life, we do rock paper scissors for now, and then they win a prize, right? But I want to do augmented reality, like off my shirt or something like that.
That's cool.
That's
And you said
very
you
cool.
do augmented reality. Like, what experience do you have with augmented reality? Can you
Yeah,
tell us about
so
that?
I worked with the Blipper app. It's an AR app that you can build on, and I would build within the aspect ratio of my painting, just like either pre-record performances and put them on there. You can do music, So basically, it was like creating an entire world through this painting once you scanned it through the Blipper app. And
The
that's kind of
Blipper?
how I used AR. Yeah, it's BLIPPAR. But there's a ton of apps that you can build on and do stuff like this. So you could literally do a graphic on your t-shirt, and as long as that person had the same app, you could make what you were talking about come to life for sure.
It's cool.
I saw a lot of them like paid for like subscriptions in order to keep it like live or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, so
Like, yeah.
there's always an expense. Everything costs money, right? But yeah,
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I've worked with one where we split to keep the domain open. And then the other one, like I just get a lot of like artist discounts that you could probably get as well. But yeah, you do have to keep it open. I'm sure eventually though that this won't be a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Augmented reality is the future.
Yeah.
Turn my face into a QR code, and then augmented reality can come off that, and I can just upload it, change it whenever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did like this crazy collab with the Baby Dolls dollhouse in the metaverse, and we had like our DJ stream into their world and their DJ stream into the gallery, and we had
That's cool.
MetaBuddies in the metaverse and MetaBuddies in real life doing the same performance, and it was so dope. Like I was geeking out on my own project. It was very cool.
That is
Not,
very cool.
not a passive gallery experience, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
No,
use
that's
you can lidar scan a room now and just
Yeah.
import it into the metaverse. Shout out to Veta TV with Biometa. He streamed a couple of our events, and I think he's streaming some in NFT NYC.
Very cool.
Yeah, is that
We'll definitely
Vita
connect.
TV?
There's so many different events.
VTA, Vita TV, is that who you're referring to?
Yeah, Biometa. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Cool.
Nice. Well, guys, this has been awesome. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I love what you guys are doing, and I can't wait to see where you're at in 6 months or a year or whatever the case might be. So give them a follow. MetaBuddies, METABETTIES, MetaBuddies, and they are minting on Monday.
That's right.
Monday. Congratulations.
Check out our link tree, guys. Yeah, you'll see both the whitelist for the pre-sale But also, like Blakely said, anyone could get involved in the project now, realize some real cost efficiencies and the community advantages with our pre-launch offering, which we're calling Insider Sets. There's also a link to that in our link tree. So thank you guys so much for the platform.
Yeah, I'm looking on the link tree now. I see the pre-sale. What was this? Oh, there it is. Available now. Pre-launch Insider Sets. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great meeting you guys.
Yeah, this is fun. I want to have you
We
guys
didn't show
on.
too hard, right?
What's that?
We didn't show too hard, right? We
No,
just
I wanted
great.
you guys to come on so I can learn about the project because I've been
Yeah.
kind of following you from afar and I wanted to learn more about it.
Very cool.
No, this was a lot of fun, and I want to have you guys back on maybe towards the end of the year or next year, and just get an update on where you guys are at with the project, and kind of check in and see how you're doing. So
yeah,
great to meet you. Thank you so much, and can't wait to see where you guys end up.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Same.
Bye, guys.
Pup, we're gonna have to put those. We're gonna have to get some deads in the AR world,
Background.
it sounds like. No,
That would be pretty slick. That would be pretty slick. Have you guys seen some of the new AR stuff? I know Google literally just did an announcement.
No.
I use the Ray-Ban Metas for some content creation stuff. They actually have it set so the next iteration of your glasses will actually have a screen embedded in it. One of the things that Apple does very well, and you'll keep an eye out for Apple as well on this, if you notice on your next iPhone update, it's actually going to see clear windows on everything. So what they're trying to train your eye to do is basically see through glass while you're looking at an object in the middle of that glass. And it'll be a slow train.
I saw a post about that on Instagram where it's a picture of a girl looking at a phone, but the phone is glass. Was that so? That was real.
So that may have been real, but it's actually on your normal phone. What they're gonna do? So all of your speech bubbles, your like slide open stuff, you'll actually have a transparent like wall that it sits on, and then everything else will have like lettering on top of it. They're trying to retrain how you look at everything. Yeah. So that way, when their augmented reality comes out, because nobody wants to go out and wear that big headset out in public.
Hey, some people did.
You have this,
You can just use
and
your phone
I can
right now, right?
Exactly. I'm like, I can use my phone. I can be a
Wait,
person.
so those have cameras? Sorry.
Yeah, this is a camera here,
awesome.
here. I can speak to it. It's a full thing.
I think this is what people have been telling me I need for snowboard season. So I wear sunglasses when I board. I don't wear goggles. So maybe this is what I need. Okay, I'm going to need you to send me a link, sir.
Oh, yeah. No,
So what this reminds me of, so my wife has a Mercedes, and she has heads-up display in her car, which at first I fucking hated. It was really hard to get used to. But once I got used to it and I got into another car that did not have heads-up display, I was like, where's all the information? Because I was so used to having all the information like right in front of me as I'm driving, like your speed and cruise control, like all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that's interesting that they're doing that to kind of train people and get them used to that, which makes a lot of sense. Because like I said, when I first had the heads-up display, I fucking hated it.
And also, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's just gonna bake the ability to make something that large into something smaller and smaller. Right. And the last demo that they did, I want to say it was Google. They did one screen on this eye, and that was it.
I saw a guy do a TED
and it was
talk
an overlay.
with that.
Yes.
Yeah. He said I cheated at my TED talk.
It's going to change a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, just because we kind of segued into exciting alpha there, because he had, Pup's got some glasses on, but I do want to introduce formally Pup. It's the first time you've been on the show, so we appreciate you being here and taking time as well today. For those of you guys that don't know Pup Meta X down here, follow him on X. But Pup's done the Big Neighbors. He's done the Pups on Solana. He's done the Little Rockers, which might be my favorite. Actually, it can't be my favorite. I'm biased on one, but it's one of my favorite collections you've done. And obviously, so you guys know, recently Salon of Deads. That's his most recent project he's been working with us on. We've been having an amazing mint and so grateful to everyone that's been supporting the Dead's Army Rising. So, but to have Pup on cam with us here and live on a Friday, I'm very excited for this. This was it was hard to sleep a little bit last night just because I was excited to hang out today. So I'm happy you were able to make time.
I want to
Hey,
show.
absolutely.
Pup, I'm on your Twitter right now. I want to show.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not that. I want this one. I want this one. The
good
Tiger
luck.
Woods. The Tiger Woods Salon of Deads. That is sick. That is awesome. Is that a one of one or is that in the collection?
So that is a one of one, but there are specific assets that I don't want to give away that may be available later.
Got it. Okay.
So a lot of the stuff that I am doing custom for other people in the community, those that help the dead rise, if you would say, I am saving very specific assets. Anything that says like a name specific, that's a one and done. That is theirs. But there are other parts of that collection that will be available in a different sense. So.
Got it. All right, guys, it's still minting. Looks like there's not a whole lot left. So if you haven't got your Salon of Deads yet, get in there and grab one. We got the lightsabers.
The lightsabers are my favorite logo.
I can't believe they let me add those. I'll be honest. I was having fun one day, and then it just showed up on one of the lists. I'm like, okay, yeah, bet.
Yeah. I got one. Yeah.
That's amazing. Cool. All right, guys, we've got a few minutes left. Anything, current events, anything coming up, any spaces coming up? I believe MSC has their Saturday, Shiba.
Yeah, for Shiba
420.
Saturday.
Shiba
Saturday tomorrow, 4:20 p.m. EST. And then on Sunday I'm doing an AI class. Bro, I've been messing around with this this AI and just want to show. I'd made this video, and this is like a werewolf
let me get it
rapping.
up there. Oh, I saw
Noise.
that on your Twitter.
I don't play with no toys. Net on my shop, I got gas for the fees. NFT popping, I'm catching them keys. Flexing my ledgers, frozen degrees. Copping them tokens, I do it with ease. CA's going up, no breaks, no pause. Flipping these entities, breaking them laws. Discord booming, Telegram calls. Link with the wheels, big fish, big jaws. Tokenomics, heavy, big bags, no stress. Metaverse flexing, real estate finesse. Jumping on itch, ain't no sleep, no rest. Diamond hands only put the paper hands to rest. Bitcoin swing, yeah, moonlight dance. Cartier frames, crypto romance. Sipping on yield, defy advance. Liquidity pools, making them bands. Running with three, stacking that coin. I'm never annoyed. Aping the chart, yeah, I'm making
This
that
goes
noise.
hard.
Crypto my tool, I don't play with no toys. MetaMask jumping, got gas for the fees. NFT popping, I'm catching them keys. Flexing my ledger, exposing
this is AI?
degrees. Copping them tokens, I do it with ease. Stacking that coin. Wallet on slow, boy, I'm never annoyed. Aping the chart, yeah, I'm making that noise. Crypto my
Yeah, so that's all
Bro, that's
AI.
incredible.
It's great.
It's sick, bro. I'm having such fun with this with Higgsfield at the moment. If you guys want to go and try it out, this is the one that I'm using at the moment, and I'm using their speak. But their effects are, I mean, you can
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Bro, there's about to be a trend incoming where people are going to be doing their life vlogs, and it's all going to be AI, and people won't even know it's not.
Oh, it's bro, it's already there. Look at this.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
Look at
my
this.
God, yeah, it's insane.
Look at
It's
this.
craziness.
I like the news report,
Reporting
guys.
from the streets of Brookside Heights, Lev, where every mailbox hides a story. I'm your correspondent uncovering the local scoop.
It's like, bro, it's almost there. I would say it's like 90% of the way there.
It's getting close.
It's getting
Very
so
It's
close.
about to
They
get
made
Don't let
so
the
much
braids fool you. I'm not here to chat. I'm here to carry. You camp, I frag. You flirt, I focus. Don't let the braids.
It's just,
Yeah, I
Yeah, bro, there's
game
going to be
hard,
full. Oh,
but I snack harder. This isn't a mess, it's a battlefield. And every empty bag, a fallen. Yeah, I game.
so
there's an Instagram account that I
much.
follow. They are called Neuro Reviles or Nira Lives,
They say I
And
look like a
it
dog,
is
but trust
probably the best like AR, like AI videos that all about aliens living in different. It's hilarious.
What is
First
it?
off,
What is it? Neuro lives.
NEURALVIZ.
Retired.
ALVIZ.
Yep.
All right. NEURO.
NEURALVIZ.
I'm sorry. Ah, there it is. Okay.
And I just fell in love with it. I found myself watching this stuff for like literally an hour.
That's great.
Dude,
I was supposed to be scrolling.
We just need to do one of the like a separate one of these every week on just AI and all the different crazy videos.
That's what Rick's Space is for. We all got to join him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday time, Rick. Sunday at what time?
I don't know. It'll be a little bit later because I want to get the US crowd in. So maybe at like 6 p.m. EST. Once people have like been out for the day, they're back, they're chilling. Yeah, but we're gonna go through all of these, bro. So I've got a pretty cool workshop planned. But I'll show you guys how you're going to be able to do this, and then what I'm going to encourage people to do is enter this $15,000 creative challenge, which is what I'm doing with that werewolf and stuff. But I'm going to continue. But if you look at the prize pool, grand prize $4,000, most viral $3,000, category awards 1.5K plus a year, and then even if I had to get this rising star, which is 20 awards, is $200 plus 1 year of pro, I'll take that. That's like $600 prize. So I encourage everyone on Sunday. I'm going to be showing them how to use this tool like thoroughly, and then to go and enter this challenge, because you never know. It's more about the concept than anything. Like I can show you how to make whatever you want, but it just has to be a 10 to 45-second video using
What's the website again?
Higgsfield. Higgsfield is the name of this here. Higgsfield.ai.
Shoot me a calendar invite, and I'm going to try to make it on Sunday.
Yeah, bro, I will.
Email
and
me
there's so much you can do with it now. It's just, it's crazy. I mean, you guys saw some of the ones that I did for here. That was just like messing around, but it's pretty insane what you can do now with these AIs. You can literally go ahead and like erase stuff now off the
I'm gonna
image.
have fun with this later. Cool.
Yeah.
I opened it up right now. I'm like, I'm about to get weird with it.
Yeah, there you go.
You can have some real fun with this. I've made some crazy ass shit. Like, well, I'll just show you some of the ones I've done, like that are nuts. So this is burning gas. The sock puppet. This was just like I made like a whole video for MSC with this of like a zombie creature. But even these are like pretty.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, even the cartoons it nails. Check.
Like that.
That's great.
I mean, it look like I say, like think of where we are now, and like let's just say, where will we be in like 6 months from now? Like we already.
Think of where we were 6 months ago. Not even close to this. Not even nowhere near this.
Leaps and bounds.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah, bro, it is a little bit. And then I did like influencers getting punched in the face.
Yo, that one's.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's good.
Where's the other one I did? It was pretty funny. Was I've done loads, man. Oh, thread guy. No. This one.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is what was it again? Samuel Denzel
L. Jackson.
It's Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson in the same.
Oh, merged together.
Yeah. And this was like the older model, so you can imagine it's only got better like since then. you know, but it's just crazy how you can take
Mhm.
just a still image, and you can do this. And it's got like auto enhance here as well, so it will like enhance it for you automatically. You don't really need to write like a crazy description. It's more about like, oh, here's Crypto Stoner.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I remember this one. Watch the bong be magical.
Yeah, the bong's magic. Yeah, that's a friend of mine. That's not such a good one. This one's good. No, it's not that one. This one, I think. It's some creepy shit, bro. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's fun playing around. And this is the older model, like I say, so it's got a lot better since like this was a while ago. I was using this, but I mean, even for MSC, like you can see this guy when he runs, it just keeps it so tight. Like, look at the feet, the legs, the arms, everything's
Yeah.
kind of like there, you know. Uh, so yeah, go and try this out, guys. Honestly, like this is the it's crazy to be able to do this shit like just from a still image.
Yeah.
It's more just the concept than anything else. Like the concept's what you need to be good at now. It's like
I love
getting
it.
it there.
The
Obviously, if
prompt.
you well, the prompt not really because it's even helping you with the prompt.
No,
Look, it's
that's
got
true. You're
prompts
right.
and enhance here. So like I didn't write all of this prompt. It wrote it for me.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, bro, it's
AI is
it's
prompting
getting
your
to the point.
prompts now.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It reads the picture and kind of knows like what you want. So it's just yeah, bro. We had a really weird place now. I was watching a thing last night on like AI, and the guy said like he was like the godfather of AI, and Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO, asked him, what advice would you give to people right now if they're not like learning AI or they're not trying to get into this? And he was like, become a plumber.
Yeah.
That was his answer. He's like, just become a plumber because like you need to be locked into the shit right now or you're going to become irrelevant because for every person that isn't taking advantage of this, there'll be 5 others that do. And then eventually, it's game over. So yeah. Just wanted to say, check out Higgsfield Sunday. We are going to have that AI class, so we'll go deep into this app and a couple of other new ones that I like, music making ones as well. So, yeah, see you guys there if you guys are down for it. It's free,
Yeah.
obviously on X.
Yeah.
Shoot me a calendar invite. Are you gonna do it on live or I assume, right?
I'll do it on X and I do it in the Discord. So yeah, it'll be on X. It'll be on
Yeah.
live on the X. Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Just wanted to tell you about this.
Bro, no, this is amazing. Yeah, and I love that you stay ahead of the curve. You really do help a lot of people understand where everything's currently at in comparison to where.
I mean,
Yeah, you gotta
four
take credit,
months.
Rick.
I will say 4 months ago is when I was telling people to use Higgsfield, and only now is everyone like, "Oh my God, Higgsfield!" Because I could see,
It's getting
like back
better.
in the day, they had the most potential, and so I try to just give people like the apps that I think have the most potential, and so far, been pretty good. I've got a couple of others that I want to show people.
You're
On
ahead of the
Sunday.
curve, definitely.
I'm
All
trying.
right. I gotta go. Crypto Stoner's hungry. We gotta close up.
Bro, people are staring at me down my hall. Just like they're like looking at me and just waiting for me to end for sushi.
this.
Y'all are wild dogs. It's like
That's
the Mutant
hilarious.
Shiva clubs in the hallway, hungry.
All right, guys. This has been a good one. This has been fun. Have a great weekend. See you at Shiba Saturday and Rick's AI on Sunday. Of course, Tricky's gonna be in NYC next week. Yeah, we always got stuff going on. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend. Party words from everybody, and then we'll let everybody go.
Shout out to EAC and Crypto Fam Radio for sponsoring me to go to NFT NYC and
Nice.
Clay John for the tickets to the to the conference. Sheepy King for the room to stay in with the AIOW house.
Nice,
Nice.
bro.
It's awesome.
Damn, bro. Damn.
the first event where I'm sponsored, like completely. I'm not paying to go. Let's go.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yo, Pup, thank you for joining us today
Yeah.
and spending some time. I know we're in talks and cooking in the background currently on just, possibilities in the future of things that could, transpire over time. A little alpha to drop its face. No, but it's just good to have you on the space and hang out with us. Hopefully, we'll have you back for some more days to just kind of chit chat about, especially about AI and kind of the realm you're in as well with 3D printing and stuff like that. So, thanks for spending time with us today too.
No, you're very welcome, and I appreciate you guys having me out. I know the talks early on. I like where things are possibly going, and I hope you guys do too. So, but no, I got other things cooking as well right now. So just keep an eye out. There are things still happening. Add-ons, extras, different, seasons.
I like it.
That's all I can say.
Teaser. I like it. Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Rick?
Just wanted to say thanks everyone for another great show, and bro, just be cautious out there with the market at the moment, and like one simple announcement could send the market either way. So just be safe. There is a DK Motion. There's an open edition on OpenSea if anyone's interested in that. Selling for I think $20. That was something I was looking at. Also wanted to mention earlier, there was a huge data breach this week. Look into it. Billions of people affected. I do suggest you just going and getting Google Authenticator and maybe changing your passwords, no matter who you are, because it pretty much affects everyone. This hack, 16 billion people's credentials were stolen. And then also just with the Stripe Privy thing, amazing news with that, huge onboarding that's happened. And there were a couple of other news things but we can cover it next week. I also wanted to say thanks to everyone for minting Mutant Records, which is myself and Nana, who's a mutant ape. He's had Mutant Records for a while. And we're going to be putting out music on Ape Chain. There's a lot of things that are coming out through that. But yeah, we minted out in less than a week. So we're very excited and happy and grateful to everyone that minted that collection. And yeah, cooking, bro. That's it. For me, 7 days a week, I'm here, guys. DM me, reach out to me, and let's cook.
Love it. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye.